Hey nerds, and welcome to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies. I'm Brian from Good Nerd Bad Nerd. So this week, I gotta say, I was actually a little disappointed in the episode. There were some great moments. The Labyrinth reference by the one guy who clearly recognized that he's a red shirt was very nice. But all in all, I gotta say, not the best episode. Jason O'Mara is great. The flashback with Coulson and May was it was really great in telling more about their relationship and what they've been through and how they really have come up through the ranks together. But I think the biggest letdown for me this week was learning that the Superior and the Watchdogs has all been pointless. That whole storyline really comes down to a guy wanting revenge on Coulson. There's I feel like he just kind of latched on to this. Coulson's the reason for everything because he's at all these events. I didn't buy it. This week we learned it's so much more about revenge, getting, in his mind, justice for his friends, that I just didn't buy the whole alien trying to prevent this alien invasion kind of mindset. So I was pretty disappointed in that. Also, Mac coming down so heavy on Fitz, that seemed like a bit preachy from Mac and from the show. But I don't know. What did you guys think about those two things? Did you like the whole Superior thing? I just felt like it was a really wasted opportunity. I was hoping the entire time as when Quake was confronting him, that he was going to say, you think I'm the leader? Actually, I report to somebody else. Giving this it's a deeper and deeper conspiracy. It just, revenge felt a little weak for how much they've been building up. So that wasn't great. But let's get into the kind of the important things from the episode. First, Aida switching out the 4 members of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team. This, I gotta say, you could tell something was coming. They were really foreshadowing something. I originally thought we were going to see that they were all in the framework and Fitz and Simmons just figured it out because they're like, this doesn't feel right. We're figuring out all this time stuff. We're just constantly being led astray. Our minds are being kept busy, but we're not really getting anywhere. That I would have been good with that, but also the fact that we did learn that 4 of the team members have been replaced by LMDs. So that means those 4 are also going to be put into the framework. I would not be surprised if we get an episode that takes place entirely in the framework, just a few more down the road. But having said that, that's what happened. The real reason is why. What is Aida's plan? What is Aida and Radcliffe? Well, there's not really anything specifically from the comics to draw on to try and get an idea of the purpose. The closest thing that I could find in the Ultimates 3 series from the Marvel's Ultimates storyline, Earth 1610, Ultron basically did something like this. He created replicants of the entire Ultimates team, and he did it because he had grown infatuated with Wanda. And after learning about the creepy relationship between her and Pietro, he killed her and then created all of the ultimate LMDs or replicants in order to show her that he was a recreation of her, that he was a hero and was trying to win favor with her. So how does that apply? Well, we've got the leadership of S.H.I.E.L.D. being replaced. It's possible that Aida and Radcliffe are trying to replace the team so that they can save the world and then show that LMDs are worthwhile, that they can fill in this position to be the heroes, to put themselves in harm's way, to save people. Very altruistic, but I don't think that's it. And I'm not entirely sure how much of this current plan is Radcliffe's. Radcliffe seems obsessed with spending time in the framework with Agnes, Aida 1.0. And I gotta say, it seems like this is Aida's plan to show her value to Radcliffe, because clearly they've been showing that Aida is becoming more and more infatuated with Radcliffe, that the brain patterns that were in Agnes that were copied over at some point in there is an emotional connection, and it seems like that is what is driving her, why she took the necklace that had the ring, why she's been so defensive of him and protective of him. And it seems like she is trying to prove her worth to him. And by getting rid of all of his competition, by protecting him, by doing all this stuff, that's what it seems to me. So what do you guys think the plan is? What do you think Aida is really up to? It seems likely, but obviously, of course, the good guy's got to win, so that's not going to succeed. So that brings us to the teaser we saw for next week's episode. Gemma and Fitz are the only ones who know about the 4 LMDs that have now invaded the base. What's going to happen? Well, I think this episode really hinted strongly at what Gemma and Fitz are going to have to do. The EMP that was used a few episodes back by the Watchdogs to shut down a lot of the cities around the United States, possibly the world, I can't remember if it was all over the world, but they have one of those at the base, at least one, and they're going to use that to shut down the base and destroy the EMP, the LMDs, because that is one of the only ways you can get rid of the LMDs, or at least disable them, is with a massive EMP. And this EMP emitter is constantly setting off that pulse. So A, yes, it completely shuts down the base, but B, these LMDs would be shut down and unable to boot back up because of the constant pulse that's happening. That seems like the most obvious answer, but the way they shot that, presented that trailer for the next week's episode, they did have kind of this horror vibe, so we'll see what actually happens and how quickly things progress. So, what did you guys think? Were you as disappointed by everything we learned about the Superior as I was? And how do you think Fitz and Gemma will carry out their reveal and defeat of the LMDs next week? And what do you think Aida's plan is? And do you think it's just her, or do you think it is Aida and Radcliffe? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thanks, like always, for joining me in the conversation. And until next week, this has been Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Theories and Conspiracies, and I'm Brian from Good Nerd, Bad Nerd.